This conference will now be recorded.
Share my screen. Today we will see about this queues. Actually, there is a queues. So yesterday we saw about the orchestrator. Orchestrator has all the things, how to configure the robot, how to create the environment, so and how to publish the robot, the package into the orchestrator, right? So these things and all yesterday evening session we saw, right? And yeah, so what we will do today, so we will create a dispatcher. So dispatcher means it will dispatch the items to the orchestrator. So if you say the orchestrator, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, here, so basically there is a queue concept in orchestrator. There is a queues. Queue is like a nothing but a normal queue only. So the term queue is where we are using. So in any banks we are seeing the queues, right? So any hospitals we are seeing the queues. So the same concept actually, but the each item, that mean in a person wise, each item is a one transaction. Okay, so first out. So the items come to the queue, that is the first one. First come first serve concept, right? First
Okay,
come
okay.
first serve
First come,
concept.
first serve.
Yeah,
Okay.
so whatever the
Like
item come into the, sorry.
first come, first serve. First come, first serve. Like there are 50 requests in the queue.
uh, uh-huh,
For example,
uh,
one request came at 8:34.
uh-huh,
One came at 8:35. One more came at 8:37.
uh-huh.
So it should take 8:35 at first, right?
Yes. Whatever come in the first time, that is the first serve only, first process.
Okay.
Okay, it will go by timely basis. That means, so whatever item come to the first time into the queue, that is so that will take first actually.
Mhm.
So which example we will take? There is a so many examples. Queues means we will see queues in so many areas, right? So we will take a one small uh, example, like a uh, or we will we'll take a uh, bank, kind of bank, in the sense, there is a personal loan or credit card. Okay, apply. So people are applying for the credit personal loans, right? Personal
Mhm.
loan process. Okay, we will take a personal loan process. So just
Mhm.
imagine there is a personal loan approver is there. So there is a approver. So he is approver. So one person, he will validate each and every uh, that mean each and every request, personal loan request. So there is a, just imagine these are all the, 1 second. So okay, this is the each and every request, personal loan request. Okay, so personal loan request. So someone is will take the personal loan request and put the, so this is a one. Okay, this is a second record, second application. Okay, second candidate application. So third file, third person file, and fourth person. Okay, so like that. So there is a another person who will take the, okay, dispatcher and performer or approver. Okay, you can say the approver who approves the Personal loan. Okay, what the dispatcher you can take as a salesman. Okay, personal loan sales executive. Okay, sales execute. Sales execute will collect the forms from the people and okay, so fill the information. So if any new, so this is a sales executor. Understand? This is a sales
Mhm.
dispatcher, sales executor. So collect the new form from the people and add the new form here in the bottom. Okay. So if the new form comes means it will go to the that is the fifth form. Okay. Already four items are in the queue. This is a queue. Understand?
Yeah.
This is a queue. So the sales executor is collecting the new form, new candidate, all the proofs and all the proofs and the documents, and put into the bottom of the queue. That means last of the queue. Okay. So so we will see like this. So he will put like this. He will put like the end only. Okay. So every time the new one he will put in the end of the queue, end of the queue. But he will take, so this one, so the performer or approver take the items from the starting. That is the first one. Okay. Okay. So this is a concept you have to understand before going to the queue concept in the orchestrator. So you have to understand the whole concept of the personal loan process. Okay, personal loan process. In the personal loan process, end-to-end process, there is a two candidates are involved. One is a dispatcher, that is a sales executor. So the work of the sales executor is collecting the information from the candidates. Okay, the customers. Okay, so all the documents of the customers and that file, the documents file, he will put into the last of the queue, last item. Okay, so each one is on a transaction. Okay, you can take each one is on transaction. This is a transaction. Okay, each file is a one transaction. Okay, so once the dispatcher is put any item to the queue, so first the status will be the new actually. So new, this is the status. He will put as a new. Okay, so queues are the first in first out concepts. So one dispatcher, how to handle the queues. So let's go and create a one small uh, 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 bot called personal loan process. Okay, so we'll create a two bots. So we will create a two bots. One is a dispatcher and performer. Okay, so first one is a dispatcher. This process dispatcher. These two are the independent bots. Independence, there is a dependency, but yeah. So anyway, there is a independent bots. So this dispatcher is don't worry about this performer, these things and all. So it will just dispatch the items, the new items into the queue, the transactions, new transaction to the queue, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we will create the dispatcher. So before creating the dispatcher, you have to declare the queue name. That is the queue has a queue name. This queue has a queue name, right? So
If you
personal loan queue, not loan. Personal loan queue is a queue name. Okay. We'll create in the orchestrator. Just go to the queues tab and click the add queue item, add the plus button and give the queue name. Okay, so the description, if you want to use the description, so unique reference no, and auto retry. If the queue item is failed, so it has to retry again. Okay, so that is a auto retry. You can retry the auto retry. That means so you can use the 2 or something, any number of times, maximum number of times retry the queue item. Okay, click on the create button. So this is an empty thing. Now it is an empty thing. Okay, now what are all the items we have in the queue? Suppose, for example, we'll take a queue name, name of the person, and age of the person, and is salary of the person. These are all the consideration. Okay, salary of the person. So let's take a one business logic. Okay, salary of the person and okay, early is taken any loan early, yes or no? And there is a some percentage here. Do you know what is the percentage level for the personal loans? They will calculate some percentage. Okay, so so the best percentage we'll see. Best, there is some percentage based on the percentage only. They will give the they will approve the loans actually. So okay, Suresh, age is 27 and salary is monthly salary. We will put the monthly salary monthly. Okay, he's taken the personal loan early. Is any loan pending? Okay, so we'll put a yes or no kind of thing. Okay, monthly salary we'll put a 30,000. 30,000 and yes, he taken the percentage is a yeah 20 percentage and Ramesh and 31 and his age is his salary is 50,000 per month and yes no he didn't take any loans and this is a 30 is a and Naresh and this is his age is 29 and his salary is 45,000. Yes, he taken the personal loan earlier, and his this is 54. Okay, so Suresh, Ramesh, Girish, and his age is 35, and he's getting the 60,000 per month, and he's not taken any loan, and 80 percentage. And Harish, his age is 25 and he is getting the 40,000 per month, 40,000 per month, and he's not taken the loan, and his age is 90 is a best percentage, and Nitish 24 and he is getting 80,000 per month, and yes, he's taken the loan early, and his percentage is a 42 percentage. Okay, so that's it. So this is fine. So our logic is see here notepad. So first we will load everything into the orchestrator. Okay, I'm just saving this Excel. Okay, and the path of the Excel is also I'm trying to give in the asset orchestrator asset. That is the best, right? So if you put the orchestrator asset, so tomorrow if the file path changes means no problem. We can change in the asset without disturbing the robot. Personal loan list. Okay. The sheet name is a sheet name only. Understand? So if any confusion, just let me know, Akib. Okay.
Okay.
Up to now, we didn't started any, UiPath robot. So just we are preparing the all the things before going to start that. So where is that personal loan? This is a personal loan. So just I'm copying the path of the Excel into the orchestrator asset. Okay. Create the asset, personal. Yes. File path and remove this double quotes. Okay. I'm getting my voice, Akib. Can you please go on the mute or I'm getting my voice repeatedly. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Personal loan is a asset name. Personal loan file path is asset name. So we're pasting this file name in the orchestrator asset because so when in the tomorrow, so the file location is changed means so no need to change the any variable in the orchestra studio or bot. So directly we can change the file location in the orchestrator asset. Okay. Okay. Now we have to read this asset and read this Excel file and load into the data table. Okay. So loop each and every row in the data table. Is it echo now? No. Okay. So you're getting my voice, right? So no echoes on these things and all. So it's clear. Thank you. So yeah. So what is our here the dispatcher? Dispatcher is a it has to do the things. Okay. Understand? This dispatcher. What am I saying? This dispatcher, salesperson, sales executive has a one Excel a list of Excel. Okay, so and he is adding the each and every Excel item, the customer details into the queue. That is the work only. That so don't no business logic, no calculation, these things and all. So blindly he will add each and every candidate details into the queue item. Okay, we created the asset for the Excel and we created the queue for that one empty. This is a empty queue. Okay, this is a now empty queue. So if you see here, so view transactions, there is a transaction. Each transaction is a one candidate details item. Okay, so now if you click on the view transaction item, so now there is no items. Okay, no data is showing. Let's go to the queues and now create a on flow chart or first try and catch. So put the try and catch. If any exception occurred, so you can create a exception and log the logs. There is a log message. Okay. If anything occurred, log message, it will log the exception. Here you can display the exception this by using this exception object. Let's copy this exception object dot message. Okay, there is a message. What exception exactly? To string. So we are logging the error. So put the error here. Okay, while logging the error, if any exception occurred in the try block, we will log the exceptions. In the try and catch block, we will do first. So what we have to do initially? So initially we have to just drag and drop. So read Excel file. Okay, so read Excel file only. Read Excel file. To read the Excel file, so we have to get the asset value. There is an Excel path. This is in the assets, right? So there is a get asset activity. Just drag and drop that get asset activity. And here there is the asset name. Just go to the assets. So what is asset name? This is the asset name, right? Personal loan file path. Just give the asset name here in the properties of the get asset activity. So in the double quotes. This is the asset name. So once you give the asset name, so it will give the value within that asset. So that is the output. Okay. So here, so I am going to create a to store the value from that asset name. So we are creating the same name, personal loan file path. Okay, personal loan file path. So that is a variable here, personal loan file path. So this is a string variable. You can go the string variable. Okay, getting the uh, personal loan file path. Okay, that is asset. Once you get the asset, so you can read the data. Read range is there. So you have two read ranges. You can use this read range. If you want to use this read range, you know, right, these two differences between these two is so if you use the Excel read range under app integration, you should install a MS Office software into the your system. So that should be installed in that system. Otherwise, so we can go with this one, plain one. So no need to install any softwares. It won't depend on the software. It is like a file system. Just drag and drop. So where is the path? We have to give the path of the Excel. That is the variable, the variable which we created here. This is the output. That is a path of the Excel. And here I am removing everything because so that it will extract entire data. Okay, so read personal loan file. Okay,
What about that application scope? We
yeah, application scope means if you want, so that's why. So if you want to use this read range activity, so the under application integration, you should use the application scope. See here, so it is showing the error like a activity is valid only inside the Excel application scope. Okay, you can directly use this remaining activities, these activities. Okay, without using the application scope. In the Excel, we have two kinds of activities for each functionality cube. Okay, for read range, write cell, read cell, all the things we have two activities. Two activities will do the same thing, but this will only execute once your system should have a MS Office. So this will execute without having the MS Office. So to use this one, you should have a Excel application scope. Okay, if you want to use this one, you should have a application scope. That's why I'm taking directly this one. So directly this is a independent activities. All the are the independent activities. It won't depend on the other activities. So it's directly we are passing the Excel scope here. Okay. So or directly you can use Excel scope also. So Excel that is also okay. Excel scope activity and give the path here, path of the Excel. So this is a path of the Excel and give the read range activity. You can use any one of that. Okay, I'm just removing this one so we can use that one. Okay, empty and read range. Read range will give the data table is the output. Just store the data table. Uh, Personal loan DT. I'm giving the new data table personal loan DT. So it will give the personal loan DT. Okay, just check the personal loan DT scope. It is a read range only. Just scope up to try catch block. Now we can loop each and every record in the data table for each row activity. Just drag and drop the for each row activity. And here is a personal loan DT. There is a personal loan DT. Why it is not visible? Okay, here within that, so just select. See the personal loan DT scope is the only do. Just extract, uh, increase the scope so that you can access outside of the personal loan also. Yeah, remove this one so we can collapse this read range. So read range work is done, right? So collapse this one and use the data row for each row activity. So within this personal loan DT, so each and every item in the row in the data table, so we have to add into the queue. So add into this queue. That is the concept. So add into this queue. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the queue. Type the queue in like orchestrator. So activities panel, queues. So there is a add queue item. So add queue item is a so used to add the queue item into the orchestrator. Okay. Just drag and drop the add queue item. So here you have to give the queue name. Just select the queue name from the orchestrator and give the queue name here. There is a queue name property. So you can give the queue name here. Okay. So here you can see there's a priority. You can put the priority low, high, medium, and postpone. You can give the dates like a postpone. Postpone means it won't actually. There is a postpone means if you postpone to the uh, you added two items here today and one item you postpone to the tomorrow day after tomorrow. Okay, so that item, even though it is a first in first out, it will check the postponed. Whether it is a postponed, it won't touch actually. Okay, it won't touch in the sense this performer will not take the postponed item up to that date comes. Okay, there is a deadline also. Within that deadline, you if you want to complete, you can give the deadline date. That is a date time picker, and it is the item information. Only two things: one is a queue name and item information. Just expand the date item information. So what are all the items we have to give? Just go and check the Excel. All the properties, all the fields basically. How many fields are there? We have to add those many fields. Okay, name. So we'll put the name, that is the input and string, and age. Okay, so where can we get the name? So we are in the for each row activity, right? Row dot item of name dot to string. So it will give the name of the item in the that row. Same thing, row dot item of age dot to string. So what is the next item? So monthly salary. Just copy this one and here give the monthly salary, and the same thing, row dot item of monthly salary dot to string. Okay, you can give the integers also, no problem. Integers, data types, you can change the data types. And this is the next item. Copy this item and go to this creating, expand more. This is item, and here is a row dot item of double quotes, this one dot to string. Excel, the last one, best percentage string, or you can give the integer best percentage, row dot item of best percentage. Use the c int so that it will convert into the integer. Okay, c int. Got it? So we are adding each and every item into that queue. One queue transaction, one transaction here. So this is a one transaction, right? So each 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all the transactions. Each transaction has a details of the transaction, right? If you take a hospital, the patient is a one transaction. The patient has a details, patient number, patient age, and okay, so basic patient gender, these things and all there. That is the details of the transaction. Click OK and run the bot. Nothing we created. Just read the range from the Excel and create loop each and every row and add this into the uh, data table. Okay, so now, okay, you can run this bot from the orchestrator. You can run this bot from the orchestrator. How can you run this bot from the orchestrator? You can create a package. Just go to the execution design and publish. So this will publish into the orchestrator. So under packages with this name. So the name of the workflow actually. So this is the name of the workflow, personal loan process. Okay, just click on the publish button. It's published. It is showing the published. Okay, so whenever we want, we can run the bot. Okay, we can schedule the bot also. Sometimes in the real-time scenarios, so how it will be? So they will create a dispatcher. This is a dispatcher basically. So dispatcher means it is a dispatching the items to the orchestrator. So queue items to the orchestrator from the Excel, right? So imagine that Excel. So what we have the Excel in the desktop. So that Excel is a every day it will update every day. Someone is keeping the new Excel. That means some salesperson is keeping the new Excel in that particular desktop. Okay, so let's go to the packages. You have a new package found. This is a new package, and create a new process. Click on the plus button and select the package. This is the package we have to select, and the version we have only single version, and the environment, that is the environment. Create a process. So to run the process, you have to create a to run the any package, you have to create a process. Let's go to the jobs and run the process. Run the process. Select the robots and click start. Okay, so while it is running, so we can remove this one. Okay, so we can change the name of the file. I am changing the name of the file. Okay, so that it will not allow. I just changed the name of the file. So at the end list, after list, I put the IO. So then what happened? It will throw errors. So anyway, we handle the errors here by using the try and catch. And here in the catch block, we created the log, right? We can see the logs from the orchestrator also. So this is a running state. Let us see. So the robot is running. In the bottom, you can see the white icon, uipath icon. The robot is running. So maybe it will throw error because first it will get the path of the Excel from the orchestrator by using the assets, and see the status is a success, and see the logs, view details. View details. This is the details of that robot, and here there is a view logs. Just see the view logs. So you have a error here. Okay, you have information. You have a error here. So what is that error? Just click the view details. You will find the error. The column age is does not belong to the table. Okay, that column age is does not belong to the table. So why it is showing the column age is not belonging to the table? Yeah, so because that Excel is not red. Okay, let me run again. So let me run again. So in this point, I'm just trying to tell you about this logs. Okay, so we created the logs, right? So the error logs, we put all the block into the try and catch. So first, while it is retrieving the Excel data, Excel path, so that itself it is a wrong. So if it is a wrong, it will throw error like a, so this Excel is not fine. There is a path is error in the catch block. So once it comes to the catch block, we put the log message. Okay, so you can monitor the logs from the orchestrator. That is the point I want to explain here. So you can monitor the logs here, view logs. So here is the error, the information. So only we have information. So Why this has we do not show the first two, three downloads in the orchestra in the UiPath robot. You can change the level of the logs actually. So put the errors and click and rerun again. It should throw error. Just let me run here itself, whether it is throwing error or not in the output panel. Yesterday we saw, right? So we can run the robots from in different ways actually. So we can run robots from how many different ways? Uh, how many types? How many ways we can run the robot? Cube.
Through Studio,
Okay. Can you explain one by one?
through Studio and through UI robot,
Mm-hmm. Good.
through
Okay.
orchestrator.
Through orchestrator. From UiPath Studio, from robot, from orchestrator on demand or schedule. Okay. So yeah, this is the error. So we saw this error, right? This error we saw in the earlier. So that is a thing. So here we saw that error. So you can see, you can monitor the errors from the orchestrator. Okay, that is the thing. So this error, based on that, you can do the action. So without touching the robot mission. Now we are running from the orchestrator. We are seeing the logs from the orchestrator. So everything is we're passing the asset from the orchestrator, right? Okay, just change the Excel name again to the valid Excel. Okay. So what happened? It created the another Excel. So while it is reading, okay, fine. Now let's run the robot again. Now the queues. So in the queues, you can see here the queues items in progress is 0. Last one you can see the remaining is 0. Everything is a 0 in the last line, right? So now go to the jobs and click run the robot, personal loan robot, and click on the start. We will see the icon, UI robot icon. Now it's appeared, right? So that means the robot is running. Now it will read, it will fill, it has to fill. Okay, it's open the Excel. So let's refresh these things. Any items are adding? No, it's not adding any Excels. Mhm. Yeah, it's adding remaining items. See, remaining items is 1. It came 1. One by one, it is adding. It's taking too much time. It has to add all items. Okay, just see. So here you can see the view transactions. So you can see the one row added, right? So what is the status? Initially, it will put as a status as a new. Okay, priority is normal, and just click the view details. It will show all the details. So see, right? The Suresh added from the Excel, and age and salary, and is any loan pending. Okay, So best price, best percentage. Okay, let us refresh again. Is there any another rows are adding? I think it is taking time. Let us wait few more time. You're understanding, right? So it will add each and every item into the queue, basically. So one by one, the item. So once you use the add queue item, that is the activity in the orchestra studio. So what is that? Add queue item. Add queue item is a one activity. So we have to pass the queue name, which queue we have to add, an item list. It should not take this much time, but let us see the jobs. So in the jobs, is there any error is occurred? View logs. So no logs is there. So go to the queues. Still it is one only. Oh, it's done. It's done, but it added only one queue item. So this is wrong actually. View and see the logs. There is error occurred. Just see that operation has been timed out. So while it is adding the new item, so the second item it is timed out. Oh, why? So run again, run again. Uh, so before running, so we will do the I mean number of items. So a small log we will put the log a log message so that we will uh, see how many number of logs. Okay, total number of records rows. Okay, rows. How can we get the total number of rows? That is a personal dt dot rows dot count dot to string. Okay, so that we can get the number of rows, how many rows so we can add. And also same thing we are adding into the each and every item. So here row dot item dot name dot to string plus started. So that we can know in the orchestrator so which is started, which is not started, these things and all. Let's publish the robot. Publish the robot. It's published. So once we publish the new version, so we have to use that version. So see here the personal robot, you have a click on the view item, so you can use the latest version. So this is the latest version, this is the current version. Okay, so click on this one, so use, and it will use the latest version. Yeah, now both are is the latest versions only. So just go to the jobs and click run. Select the bot, process and robot. Click start. Now we can see the logs here, view logs. So what is going on inside the robot, these things and all we can see. We can monitor from here. So why it's taken only those many only one item it's added. So it's not yet started. So queues, let's check the queues. Queues only one remaining item is there. View logs, no logs. Um, mhm. That means it's not yet started. It's not went to that Excel. So, but asset is same, right? Asset is the same Excel. Excel is the same. Personal loan list dot XLSX. Just let me check in here. So this is a personal loan dot list, personal loan list dot XLSX. But why it is taking too much time? Is it taking too much time to get the Excel? So UI robot is connected. UI robot is connected. So put the level here. So information. Uh, it should not take this much time. So if it takes this much time, it will come as a timed out. Yeah, this is a 4 remaining. 4. Mm, I think it is adding. It's a bit slow. It is adding too late actually. So let us see the 4 records transactions, and these are all the new transactions. Just check the details of that one. First one is a Suresh. We already saw. The second one is a second one is also Suresh because we ran twice, right? Let's check the. This is a Ramesh, age 31. So these are all the details of the Ramesh. The second record from the Excel. This is a Naresh, 29. Okay. Yeah, it's done. So it's done. So few records it's added. So what we will do, so just imagine so this work is done. Okay, it's added 4 records. Understand this salesperson added the 4 records. We have a 4 records in the queue. This personal loan queue name. So this queue has a 4 records. Okay. So now the second part is we have to create the performer, the approver, basically. Okay. Approver robot we have to create. So let's go and create one more project called approver. Create a approver. Loan approver. Okay. So what the approver has to do, approver has to get the each and every item from the queue, right? So what here it is doing, here the approver has to take the item from the queue. Here the orchestrator will take care of all the things, the new item, first in first out, these things and all orchestrator will take care of that. Okay. The approver, what it has to do, it has to use the get transaction item. If you use get transaction item, the orchestrator always give the new item, the status is a new, and it should be a first item. Okay, so don't worry about the whether it is a first or second or last or what time it came, these things and all, because orchestrator is handling by default. Okay, we don't bother about those things and all. Okay, so let's take one sequence and use the get transaction item. There's a get transaction item. Just drag and drop the get transaction item. So get transaction item is used to get the transaction item from the orchestrator. Okay, get transaction item, it is using by the approver. Okay, and add transaction item. So earlier add queue item. Okay, add queue item. So this is used by the who is using to approve dispatcher, basically the salesperson. Here the dispatcher is using the add transaction item. Okay, now we need to get the item to process. So what is the queue name? So this is a queue name. I'm giving the queue name here to get the transaction item. There is a queue name, and within the double quotes, give the queue name. And here, what is the output? Output is a transaction item, so Q item. So basically, the output here you can observe the data type of the transaction item. That is a Q item. Q item itself, it is a one class. So you have to create an object to store the transaction, the new transaction item. Okay. So what is that? You can create a new application. Okay, new application. So this is a, just check the variables. The new application is the Q item. That variable type is a Q item. How we have a string variable like that, Q item. Okay. So once you get the Q item, one item, the performer has to verify. So you can set the status. Set the set transaction status. There is a set transaction status and progress. So the progress means if the approval process involves the so many processes, notepad, the so many processes, it involves the validating all validating documents. Okay, verification address, uh, physical address. Okay, so one person came to the our, that mean the customer home or the address. He will verify, he will ask the neighbors and he will verify the address, physical address which the customer given. Okay, this will take time. It won't, it's not like a, so immediately these are all the steps it will involve into the approval process. And check the business logic. So business logic is, so we'll see the business logic. So if the person, see if the person is already taken a loan, so already taken, this is a SR there, right? So already taken a loan, and the best percentage is these are all the already taken loans, right? These are all the already taken loans. These three are the already taken loans. If the best percentage is below 50, then you have to reject. What is the logic? So it has to check the, so these are all the business conditions. If the is any loan pending equal to yes, okay, and one more condition is a and, okay, here is a and best percentage is less than 50, then reject the process, approval process. So otherwise proceed the process. Okay, so this is put the starting. Okay, starting. So if it's passed, then only go to the validation process, verification process. Okay, then approve, 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 approve the application. Okay, if this is yes, this is yes. Okay, so just to understand, so this is a business logic we have to apply, and we have to give the business reason also. Why we rejected? Okay, the reason is, so this combination is the reason. Okay, so is any and best percentage is very low. Okay, it should be above 50 percentage. That is the reason. That's why we rejected. Okay, if it is rejected, you should say the reason. Okay, understand? So yeah, once we get the queue item, so we have to check the first we will set the process, set transaction progress we will set. So the transaction item we have to pass, that is a, what is the transaction item? This is a transaction, and new application is a transaction item. Put the new application transaction item. Okay, and the progress. So just progress. So application uh, application verification process started. Okay, application verification applic verification process started. Okay, so just I am putting the delay, just delay for few, just 00 hours, 00 seconds, 3. Okay, 3 seconds. After that, again I'm taking the another set as a transaction status. So what is the status? So verification process started, right? So we'll remove this one and check the if condition. If the first condition, okay, this is the first condition, check the business logic. If the transaction is, it is a new application, right? New application dot specific content. Okay, if you want to get the specific content, like a, so in the queue item you have a content, right? So the name, age, monthly salary is these things are all specific items. Okay, so we will use the name for the, so this transaction is started like that. Specific item, specific content. So what we required here is any loan pending, that's it. Is any loan pending? So this is the name of the item. So equal to yes. If it is a yes, you have already taken. And what is the second condition? Best percentage is less than 50. So best percentage. So how can we retrieve? New application dot specific content of that column name best percentage is less than 50. Okay, so it is showing error. So why? Because so there might be a string, it is showing as a string, I think. So what we will convert, this into the c int, so that it will do the calculations. So, and also give the toString at the end, toString, and here also dot toString. Okay, it will convert toString into the integer and convert. Now this is a condition. If this both are equal, that means both are equal means is any loan pending equal to yes, and the best percentage is below 50, then we have to strictly reject. Okay, there is a set transaction item. So there is a set transaction status. Give the transaction item. Transaction item is the input. New application, and put the status is a reject, failed. Okay, failed. And the business, so which error it is, a business error and application error. Okay, so if it is a business error means the business logic, so business rule exception. Okay, application error means, so sometimes the person is not available. Okay, this person is not available, so that is a or sometimes there is a some application is closed, application is not available, that is a application exception, business exception. And reason is this one. Okay, this is the reason. Fail the status, reject the status basically. And then if it is not like that, then update the success status, new application and success. For success you don't require any reason, only for the failure you have to give the reason. So is it is a failed, is it a failed, right? So it's a success. Okay, so done. So after that, uh, you so before that, we will check the, so we'll see the some statuses. Okay, so I'm just checking the status to, you can apply the progress. So what is the currently progress, these things and all. And again 3 seconds delay, and again the Address process. Physical address validation. Okay, that's it. So simple. We get transaction item we use to get the transaction, and we are using the second activity is called set transaction progress to just know the where exactly the current stage of the application. Okay, in the from the orchestrator, and we use the business logic, and if it is a we use the set transaction status, whether it is going through the business rule, then it will go to the success, otherwise it will set the failed. So if it is a failed, what is the reason? Business reason. That's it. So I am using the I am running one time, just run one time. So once you run one time, that mean it is taking one item. Okay, it will just take the one item from the orchestrator queue and process the item. While it is running, do you have any doubts in this performer, AQ?
No, it's okay.
Okay, clear, right? So because in the advanced topics, people are using the queues. That's a really awesome concept. Queues is an awesome concept. So you can distribute the work also. So imagine you have a 1 lakh queue items. Now you have only 4 items, right? So 1 lakh queue items is there. So each there is a different performers. This is a performer. So so you have different performers. You can distribute the queue items. See, it's failed. Okay, so it's failed. This is a failed because just check the here. Just check the view details. Why it is failed? The business reason is a business best percentage is very low. It should be above 50%. Understand? So let's execute one more time the performer. So while it is executing, so we will see the status. So I'm just refreshing. So it will take the next item. Okay. So once this started, you will see the status, set transaction status. The progress, set transaction progress. We will observe now. The orchestrator will give the new item. The status is a new. Yeah. Now it's started. So see the second item is in progress. Just check. So again check the progress. Oof, it is done. It is done anyway. So just check the progress. See, here is the one progress. So you can write the progress here. So now we put only the 3 seconds, right? So sometimes the download process take time, and the verification takes time, right? So imagine the physical address verification. He has to go. One person has to go from the bank and check the whether the he existed in the current location is a proper or not. It takes time, days, right? So that you can easily monitor the what is the current state of that particular application. So that is why this is a progress. It will not show in the at the end. Once the process is end, the transaction is completed, it will not show. It will show in the middle only. So this is a physical address verification. So where we use the physical address verification here, the set transaction physical address verification. So we can see the each and every transaction progress in any time. So just refresh. So it's a failed. Again it's failed. Okay, so why? Because it's failed. So the best percentage is a below 20. So just check here. So this is a below 30, and this will success, right? This Ramesh file will success or not, Akib?
It will know because the best is 30.
No, it will success. See the combination we checked. What is the if condition here? So is any loan pending equal to yes? And
Okay.
there is a and operator. And means both should be equal, both should be true, then only it will execute. So if the person, this is a false, he didn't take any loan. So if he didn't take any loan before, so even though it won't check the best percentage, it is a below 50 also, they will approve because he didn't take loan, right? The logic, business logic is a, this is a, both should be a true, both should be true means, so it should be a yes, the is, he has to take a loan before, and the best percentage is below 50, then only we have to reject, otherwise we have to approve. Understand?
First condition itself, the condition fails. Right?
Yeah, this itself, it is a false. Okay, so we put the, see, we put the condition. So let's take a condition outside. So this condition outside, this is a condition, right? So what is for the, what is the candidate? So this candidate is the Ramesh, right? Ramesh. What is the result of this one? This result of the selected one, true or false for the
It is
Ramesh?
no, it is false.
Okay, good, false. Okay, and what is the result of this one, the selected one?
This is true. This is true.
Why?
True because it's less than 50, right?
Yeah, it's less than 50. This is a 30 only, right? So it's a
Yeah.
true. Okay, true. So what is the result of this whole expression?
It is accept.
No, no. So false or true? That's it.
It is false
So why it is
because
a
the
false?
not matching, right?
And operator. So if it is a true only, it will become a true. Otherwise, it will false.
Yeah.
You have a condition, right? So uh, relational operations table, relational operations table. Okay. So table, you can find the table here, relational operators table. So this is a logical or relational. So here, not here. So where is the table? You can find the relational or logical. Okay, not
Logical
relational.
operator.
This is not relational, logical. Okay, logical or
Logical operator.
yeah. So this ampersand is a and. Okay, ampersand represents the and. Yeah, here you can see. Here you can see the false. A false. A means this one. Okay, A is a this one. B is a this one. A B. A and B. The operator is a and. So if it's a false, and is a false. If it's a false true, and is a false. If it's a true false, and is a false. Only if A is a true, at the left hand side true and right hand side true, then it will be a true. The OR operator is a different. Any one is a true, then it will become a true. Both will be false, it will become a false. Not is a opposite of A. Not A, right? Not A means if it is a false, it is a true. If it is a true, it is a false. Understand? This is a logical operator table. So that's why. So it is become a, yeah, you are correct. You are correct. So this is a false. So once it is a false, it will go to the else part, right?
Yeah.
What is the else part? It is a success. Let's run and see. So the next one, Ramesh, let's run, take the another thing, let's run and see. So it has to take the next item in the queue. So that is a who is this? Ramesh. It has to take the Ramesh. So just check the refresh. It's taken. The Ramesh, it's in progress. In progress. Just check. So validation, verification process is started. Yeah, it's done. It's done. Just check, refresh. Yeah, it's a success, right? The success. Just check the validation. It is a success. So there is no status set. It's a success because no errors, right? You understand, right? So that is about the get transaction and set transaction status and set transactions the progress. Okay. So queues. Okay. So in the queues, there is a add queue item. So for example, imagine you have a so many transactions pending. Transactions are there already in the queue. You imagine there is a 1,000 records has to process by the performer, the approver. Okay. So suddenly there is a emergency item came. The customer is pushing like anything. So he needs immediate loan, but there is a lot of queue. It has to go to the all the queue, right? So if the dispatcher is put a item in the end, so it all the first in, because queue is following the first in first out, right? But there is an emergency. Just check the see in the hospitals, each patient is on queue item, the transaction item. So there is a lot of patients in the queue. So there is an emergency patient will come. Emergency, there is some accident or emergency patient came, right? So he will not wait, right? So the emergency candidate will not wait up to the queue is cleared. So immediately the doctor treat the emergency candidate, but the emergency candidate has to go through the process. They will take the OP, okay, outpatient registration, and go to the emergency, take the emergency OP, and go to the treatment session immediately, right? These are some cases emergency we have to complete. So adding the item to the queue, immediately process. Understand the concept? Thank you.
Yeah.
So to do that, so we have a add transaction item. Add queue item, only simply add the item to the queue, it will add into the end. But the add transaction item, it will add the item, immediately it will process. So just check the add transaction item here. Okay, add transaction item, and I am disabling this one, get transaction item. Okay, so add transaction item. So here is a queue name. This is an emergency item, so it has to process even though items are there. So what is this one? There is one item pending. So there is a Naresh is pending, and Naresh is there already. So this is a queue name, and this will result the transaction item. So there is a new transaction item already there. So this is a new transaction item and process. That's it. The process. So but here in the add transaction item, so there is a transaction information. Here you have to give the all the information. Name. There's a string. So I am processing the hard coding, right? Rajesh, and age. Put in the double quotes. 56. 56, and take another item called what is the next item? So we have to see here. Okay, what is the next item? Monthly salary. Put the monthly salary here. Monthly salary, there is a string. So within this I'm giving the 85,000. Okay, so and take another item. This is a right, these are all the attributes we have to give. So yes, and best percentage is, give the best percentage, that is an integer, right? So we take an integer, and that is a above 56 76. Understand? So we're adding the queue and we are processing the queue. So this is adding the queue. So this transaction item already we taken here, the transaction item we are taking into the new transaction item. Just run. Okay, run it. That is the emergency. Just see the queue item. So even though the who is this? The Naresh is in the queue. it has to process, but emergency item came and it will go to the in progress stage. Just imagine the emergency case in the hospital. So even though the patients are waiting in the queue, the doctor will treat the giving the high priority to the that emergency patient. Now see, so this is a came. Even though this is there, that item came. This is Ramesh, Rajesh. These are all the came. Okay, it's done. It's done. It's processed. It's processed. Success. Okay, understand? So this is about emergency queue. That is just check the add transaction item. This is a high priority. Basically, that priority you can see here, the priority session. It's a high priority. You didn't give anything. It's a high priority. You have to process immediately the transaction. So that is about the queues. So here you can delete the queue item. So you can just drag and drop and give the queue item, queue items. So basically, you can give the list of queue items. Okay, so but to delete the queue items, you should okay. The queues, what are all the pending? So get postpone the transaction item. You can postpone the transaction item also. Just postpone the transaction item. So let's take one more this transaction item. Yeah. So let's take one more sequence. A new sequence I am taking. Queue topic 1. Okay. So new transaction, new sequence we will take, and what we will postpone, just postpone the transaction item. Just give the postpone transaction item. For the postpone, you should get the transaction item. Just add get the transaction item. Okay. Get the transaction item from the queue. So what is the queue name? Queue name. This is a queue name. Okay, this is a queue name, and it will give the new queue item, new app, new application, new request or anything. Okay, here the postpone, you have to give the 3 inputs. So 2 inputs or 3 inputs, anything, deadline or postpone, anything you can give. Okay, transaction, new app application, that is a transaction item name, and what is the postpone date? So you can give the postpone date as now I want to postpone 3 days after now, up to now. Okay, so now dot, how can you add? Now dot add days. I want to postpone 4 days, after 4 days. Yeah, so you can use the deadline also. So before deadline, so now dot add days. The deadline is a 6. Okay, 6 means up from today onwards, 6 days after it is the deadline, it has to finish. Okay, postpone a deadline, postpone the item. You can postpone the queue item. Just click this one. So anyway, if you use a get transaction item, what it will take? It will take the new item. Okay, so the new item is a Ramesh. Now we have only single new item is there. So you have a filter in the orchestrator. You can filter the new items. Okay, so in progress items and the failed items, all this like that. Now what we are going to see? So we are going to see the postpone, how it will postpone. And also you can check and postpone. So now we postpone directly. So you can check so if you want to postpone all the items, so which is in progress or whose salary is above this much, so like that you can check and postpone. Yeah, refresh. See, so the I it will not process up to this date is comes. Okay, there's a date. You can check the dates here. So here is the dates. So this is the deadline. 22nd, 16th, 22nd December, that is almost 6 days after. So this is a postponed date to the 20th. Understand? So this is a postponed. You can postpone the item to the particular days actually. Sometimes we are postponing, so I want, so suppose in the same case, the personal loan approval process, so you want to postpone all the items which is the salary is above 50,000, so you want to postpone to the particular day. You can postpone by using the postpone transaction item. Yeah, now what is the get transaction, get queue items? So the get queue items, it will give the all the queue items. Okay, so it will give all the queue items. So here, not this one, get queue items. Get queue items. Okay. So once you drag the queue items, get queue items. So you have the, here is the queue item status. If you want to get the all the failed items, you can get the all the failed items. Okay. So what is the queue name? Here is the queue name is this one. Okay. So within this queue name, so what is the problem here? No, not queue name, not here. So there is a queue name. Where is a queue name? This is a queue name input. Okay. So here you have to give the queue name, and the queue name we give. So within that queue name, so what are all the status, the queue status? So what are all the failed items? So I want to know how many failed, how many number of items failed. So this is the output, queue item list. Okay. The list of I enumerable means the list of items. Just right click and create a all failed applications or requests. Okay, so all the failed requests is a list of queue items. So this is a all failed request. So you can loop each and everything. So just create a log, a message box. So you can message box how many failed. So total number of failed items. So here is a what is that? All failed items dot length. Length is not there. Count dot toString. Okay. So this will give the list of all the failed items. So for each, so if you want to display the each and every item, so you can just give the for each activity. So here all list of items. So as it is a queue item list, what is the path? uipath dot core dot queue item. So this for each loop is also should be the same type. So just browse uipath.core.queue item. Okay, this is a item list, the data type of that for each. Now message box, display the items. So failed item, each what item it is. So let's take a string item dot specific content, name of the person, and yeah, name of the person, and uh, is rejected. Okay, so the name of the persons, and here also dot toString. Okay, so nothing, so no confusion. So only we use the get queue items, that is a activity to get the all the items. So you can specify the filter also. So if you want all the items, just put the select all the items. Okay, you have these many statuses are there. So new, in progress, failed, status, uh, abundant, retried, deleted. Okay, yeah, let's run. It has to show two items, the count. So how many we have in the field list? We have a two only, right? Two items it has to show. Yeah, this is the total number of failed items, two, and Suresh is rejected, and yeah, Suresh only two Sureshes, because so two times we added the dispatcher. Okay, so, yeah, two Suresh items. And now, so what is a pending thing? So you have a delete item also, delete queue. So you have a queue. So there is a delete queue item. So just use this one. So within this, so list of queue items we have to delete. So after for each loop we will use list of queue items. That is a all failed. We'll see. I don't think we have a permission. So this require the permissions. So get queue items, get transaction item, postpone items. At yeah, almost covered all. So we're displaying the two new items, two rejected items, and it has to, yeah, it is throwing error because so I think I don't have a permissions to delete the items. So let's check whether my permissions in the go to the this users, and here roles is there, roles in the top. So in the robot session, just edit, click edit. So here under queue, so you have a permissions, right? View permissions. So I have only view permissions. I don't have a edit, create, delete permissions for the queues, right? So I'm giving all the permissions and click update. Now go to the queues and show the list of queues, view transactions, and rerun the project. So you should check the permissions, whether you have a permissions to delete the queue items or create or okay, reject, create or view, update the queue items. These permissions. It is showing the number of failed items. These two are the number of failed. So again, it is showing the so there is a some problem with so permissions. So maybe it should be so it should not delete. So the users cannot delete the queue items like that. So this is a permission issue. Okay, so once you have a proper permissions, you can delete. Okay, so one by one, iCube. Can you tell? So what is the where we are using the add queue items?
Add queue items the in queues, right? In the
In queues. These are all the queues only. So queue concepts only. When we are using the add queue item, how you can add the item to the queue by using the UiPath?
to this orchestrator.
How you can add the item to the queue. So you already have a queue in the orchestrator, but how you can add the each and every item, transaction item to the queue?
Mm,
Which activity you have to use?
add transact.
Add queue item only you have to use to add the new item to the queue. Okay, so add transaction item is only used for the emergency items. Okay,
Okay.
emergency items. So the add transaction, always you are using the add queue item only. So this is a first in first out. So as a queues is a first in first out. So this dispatcher, the salesperson, is adding the new items to the queue by using the add queue item. Okay, so add transaction item is a emergency case. So immediately, so even though there is a lot of items in the queue, so it won't have to wait. High priority items, you can use the add transaction item. So delete queue item, you can delete the any queue items uh, items in the queue. Get queue items is a use it to get the items from the queue. So you can specify particular items or failed items, in progress items, these things and all. You can do the performance that you can process, so you can do so many things. So if you can delete, or you can just report the all the items, what all the items is not performed, so what is the reason, these things and all. Okay, so for example, so someone is asked, so just list out all the failed items and the reason for that, why it is rejected for the personal loan approver. So someone, the manager of this performer is asked. So then you can use the get queue items and select the failed items and reasons and all. You can use by based on the this. So there is a specific content, right? There is a specific content method to retrieve the specific content. Get transaction item, so it will give the new item. So once you use the get transaction item activity, so it will give the new item from the orchestrator. From the queue, the orchestrator will give the new item, which status is and first one. And postpone transaction item is an activity, so you can postpone the item, any transaction item to the particular date. Okay, so you have deadline also, so you can put the deadline for that. Before that deadline, it has to finish like that. So set transaction process, so as we said, so we have so many in each and every process has so many steps, right? To approval process, you have so many steps. So as we take in the example of the personal loan process, so the personal loan approval process has involved different processes, right? So validating the documents, first it has to go to the verification, just a verification. So this is a business logic. Okay, so each state, so what is the progress, these things and all, if you want to set the progress of that particular item, so that orchestrator, in the orchestrator, if it is in progress, you can see the status at any point of time of that particular customer or transaction item. Okay, so you can set the transaction progress, and this is the final thing, set transaction status. So you can set the transaction status in the success, failed. Okay, so based on the conditions we rejected, right? So we rejected so if it is a failed, you should give the reason for that failed, why it is a failed. There is a two reasons, two types of reason, failed kind of thing. So see here, so in the transaction failed, you have two things. One is the business and applications. Business and applications means, so for example, you are interacting with the one application. Imagine once it is approved, once it's values are okay, you have to feed the information into this one application. Just imagine this is the application. Okay, you are filling the information and clicking the accept button. Okay, while filling the application, suddenly this application is closed. Okay, the application is crashed. So that is the application error. Okay, so it's not business case, it's not a problem with the customer documents, it is a problem with the applications. Okay, any applications, SAP application, any Excel is not proper, Excel is closed. So application exceptions. And business exception is the error type is a business, means business condition. So sometimes if you want to withdraw money, if you want to withdraw 5,000 from your bank, so you should have a minimum balance of the 5,000, right? Without having the balance, how can you withdraw? That is a business logic. Like that, here we take in the business logic to approve, reject the uh, applications. So is he taken the any loan before? Yes, and the best percentage is below 50, then we can slightly reject. For the failed, you should give the business reason, the reason of the rejection. Okay, so that is about the queues. Understand? So usually people have the dispatcher robot and performer robot. After dispatcher, the performer, these are all the even though it is a dependent, but it's a purely independent kind of thing. So only orchestrator. So performer only asking the any queue items, it will ask the, so if you use get transaction item. If the now if you use the get transaction item, so you have this one, but it is a postponed, right? So there is another new items, so it will not give any item. Okay, it will throw. So there is null. No items are existed in the new status. Okay. So, and one more thing you have to understand is uh suppose for example, so q q q item in progress, in progress. You have a retry mechanism. See here. So if it's a failed, you can put the retry item. So if you put the retry item, so it will go to the new. Okay, so you can retry also. Understand? You can retry the item also. So here you can put the retry. It will retry the item again. So this is a new item came again. So it will retry the particular item if it is a fail from the orchestrator you can do. So if it is a, what I'm going to share with you is, so if it is in progress up to 24 hours, change the item status. Uh, your path status abandoned, how it will change. See, so it will retry after 24 hours. So if it's an in progress stage, after 24 hours, the item, if it is in progress, the item automatically converted as the status will abandoned. Okay, so that is a one question, actually interview question. You should know that. Okay, if the status is in progress up to 24 hours, after 24 hours, what is the status? It will convert into the abandoned. Understand? So just practice this one. So take a one small example, any example. So create a two different robots, bots. One is the dispatcher and performer one. So take this example. Okay. So this is a yahoo.com. Go to the yahoo.com. So this one, finance.yahoo, and so this is a finance.yahoo, finance.yahoo, and search for any company, HP, any company. So it will give the all the share results. Okay, so these are all on all. You have to put this code, UI code. So the robot has to do. Okay, not you. So robot has to do all the things. So it has to search the HPE, any company, and click on the search button and click on the historical data. So there is a historical data. This dispatcher has to do this one. Okay, this historical data, and click on the download data, or you can extract the data from by using the data scraping. That's also fine. Okay, so extract the data and add the queue item: open, high, low, close. Okay, date. These things are a value, volume. Okay, so these things and all you just add into the queue. Create a new queue. Okay, and create a new queue and add all the items into the queue. Okay, high, low, close. So high, low, and open, right? So, so do you have this one? Where is that? This UI demo is there. You have a UI demo. So do you have this exe IQ?
No, you
Oh,
didn't. You didn't share this.
okay. I will share this one. So this anyway, internet also you can it will available. Okay, it has to give the open here and low, high, and click on the perform accept. That is the performing the um, that the performer has to do. Okay, create a logic like this. So performer has to get the each and every item from the queue and fill the details in the UI board. Okay, understand? And do the
Yeah.
business logic. Some business logic, just check for the some number. So if the number is greater than this one, so we have to reject the that queue items like that. Okay. So this number is keep on changing, right? So every day, so just check, put a number like a, if it's a 14 above, 14 below, or 14 above, or 15 above, 15 below. So you can find. So there's a 16, these things and all. If it's a 15 below, then you can just reject. What is that? This is a column of high. If it's a high is a 15 above or 15 below, then reject. Understand? So that is the exercise you have to complete in the next session. You have to show that exercise. There is a dispatcher and performer. Okay, I will share this video. So this recording and go through that recording. So this key item is a very important. So there is a RE framework, robotic enterprise framework is also there. So there the key items is useful actually. So
Okay.
any doubts, Cube, in the today's session?
No, I will practice and.
Okay. Create a robots and deploy the robots in the orchestrator. Okay, so schedule the bots and yeah, okay, do this dispatcher and performer kind of thing. Two things:
Mhm.
adding the items to the queue and getting the items to the queue, changing the items status, progress, and practice. So not only this exercise, so this is the exercise I give, right? So the finance.yahoo.com. So not only this exercise, so you can, once this exercise is complete, so you can concentrate on another exercise. Just come up with the ideas. So take a real time example. Okay, so otherwise take a Facebook. So the path of the image you just share into the queue item. So one bot is directly get the item path of the image, these things and all from the orchestrator queue, and upload the post, any image into the Facebook or anything. Okay, come up with the new concepts. Okay,
Yeah.
so thanks. Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll see in the next session. Thank you,
Okay.
Akib. Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.